All right, so here's a video that's going over the Amphibians presentation. This should be in your Innovative Technology folder of your Google Drive. And here are the instructions that were put in the link. So down at the bottom, I have some helpful slides demonstrating what it should look like in the end. And at the very bottom, I have the rubric. These are some of the things that I am going to be looking for when looking at your presentation. I'm going to make sure that you have all of your text following typography in terms of you're choosing font that's legible and readable and it's consistent across all slides. I'm looking for a neat and organized layout in terms of where the pictures are in relation to where your text is, and specifically going back to typography, the title is larger than your supporting information, making sure that you have chosen good colors and that you're not choosing intense bright colors that make the text difficult to read. If you're having to change the color of your text, your background needs to be changed. And then making sure that all of your images are clear, they're not grainy or pixelated, and they are a representation of what real animals would look like. And make sure that you don't have excessive images, because you only really need one slide for the image. I want you to create 2 additional slides with 2 new amphibians with your works cited in a hyperlink. And I'm going to show you how to create the hyperlink. And then you're going to turn it into the haiku page. And don't worry about the reflection because that's not going to be set up for you guys. So looking at this initial presentation, the cover looks good. Replace Mrs. Merck with your own name. Looking at this slide, not only do these pictures represent poor examples of what salamanders are, but they are pixelated. So you're going to remove the pictures and you're going to instead replace it with one picture of what a salamander would look like. You're going to pick a format across all your slides to make sure that all the slides look the same. And if we go back to the haiku page, you'll notice that these have a theme. Black background. If you want to have the same font for the text, that's fine. But if you're going to change the color to represent a new animal, then that's fine. Same thing over here. We look at these examples here. We have a large, clear picture of the amphibian up at the top, and then at the bottom, we have our information. With this slide format, they most likely you will need to crop your picture. And I'm going to show you how we get this bottom section to look like that. So I'm going to go in here and I am going to show you what that could potentially look like. And I'm going to do that by making a copy of the new presentation so that I don't mess with the original. And I'm going to turn this one into an example. And I'm going to leave it in my same folder. So now we're going to be changing and creating a new assignment from here. Okay, here we go. I'm going to change this to myself. So let me go ahead and put in here. Oops, it's still loading. Here we go. Okay. Now with this one, I'm going to remove this image because it had words in it. This one truly does not represent what one would look like, and move this large salamander image away. So I needed to be able to take my text box and shrink it a little bit so that I could actually select a whole picture of the image and remove it. So now I'm going to go and get a picture of a salamander and use it to create the salamander across the top of the border. So let me go ahead and do an insert images, and I'm going to search online using Google right here, and we're going to put in salamander and hit search. I want to find a realistic picture of what a salamander would look like. This one being nice and wide would be perfect for me to put up on the top border. So we're going to hit insert, and now let's see if I put it up here and if I make it larger, does it actually stay clear? And it does. But I'm now covering up all my words. So let's go in here and let's do some cropping. So let's crop out. Whoops, I don't want to do that. I want to crop it. Here we go. There we go. So we're going to crop out as much of the surrounding environment as I can. And I might need to shrink it down just a little bit and put it up here. So now I need to locate the title. So let's move the title down here. Let's move this nice and center there. And let's put salamanders back up here at the top. And I'm noticing that it's showing up behind my text. So I might need to slide this down a little bit, and maybe I should just put salamander here at the top. And now I need to locate my information here. So let's bring the information down here. And I'm going to extend this out to see if it extends out anymore. Now, one of the things that you can do that I would recommend is going over here, and instead of putting um, a border on the text as being a specific color, you can do what's called a fill color. It'll actually fill. Like this is your text color here. This is the highlight color, but I actually want to completely fill this text box with a specific color. Color of the text and color it, but when you do that, it changes the color of the text, and then a lot of you also might want to create a border like that. Because I chose colors that clash, it didn't work. But one of the things that I want you to try is when you go over here to fill color, this is where I can choose a nice soft green that will completely fill the text box. That can then be resized in order to fit my slide itself. And I might, let's see if I do the same thing over here. I'm going to choose that same color so that I'm consistent. And here we go. So now I have a salamander slide here, and using my guidelines to make sure it works. So now I'm going to show you how to take the text and have it show up on top of my picture instead of below it. This is where I can go to right mouse click, and I can go to order, and I can bring the text box forward. I'm also going to click on the picture, right mouse click, and change the order to bring it backwards. So now I can do some really cool stuff by having the picture of the salamander truly take up the entire top half of the screen like this. I'm going to take my salamander title and I'm going to put it up here in the corner. I could also put it down here, and we're going to take my text box and we're going to make this so that it will take up the entire bottom half of the screen like this. Now I do have a lot of room still, so let's see if I take my text here and if I bump it up one size. So we'll try to bump it up to 36. It still fits. So this is a nice clean slide. Now I notice the screen doesn't match. So I'm going to check my color. I used this one, light green 1. So let's go over here and use light green 1. There we go. So continue on with this project. I want to make sure that each and every one of my animals matches this format. Moving on to the next one. I clearly need to remove the background. I need to change my title. Now this picture gives me an idea of how small newts are. So perhaps if I chose a picture that it would still fit, I could still use this ruler. And changing this over there. If I click and remove this background, removing this one, this text box, make it bigger. Now I'm going to go and change the fill color back to green 1 so that this matches what I had before. What color text did I have? My text color was red, solid red. So let's go over here and make my text, whoops, double click in here, select all, and make my text red 1. So let's go in here and do red 1. And let's put this text box clear across the bottom. And let's see if we can up it a little bit. Now going back to typography, my text is 36. So let's make sure that this text in here is also 36. Increasing this a little bit so I have room for everything. What font did this first one use? It used Caviton. So let's go back over here and make sure that this is also using that same font. And now I'm going to locate a picture of a newt. So let's go to Insert, Image, and let's find a picture of a newt. Now I've got the ruler. Here's one with one sitting on a hand. So let's see if I can incorporate this one. Because if I incorporate this picture, I don't need the ruler. So let's remove the ruler. Let's make it bigger to see how well it acts when I make it larger. And let's change the order, moving this to the back so that it can then show up in front of my title, which I'm just going to replace. I'm going to delete that and make a new one. Okay, I want to crop this still a little bit, so let's do some cropping of my picture. So let's make sure my picture is out where I can see it. Let's do my crop. I want to bring this down quite a bit, bring this up a little bit, and now let's see where I'm at. I can still see that my newt is in a hand. Let's see if I can extend it outward so it fills up the entire screen here. Now it looks like I need to crop a little bit more because to make it wide, I'm going to take up some of my bottom here. So let's go in and do some more cropping here. Slice this down a little bit. So now I can bring this up. It's going to take some adjusting here and there. And now I have a nice image of what a newt would look like. Now I just need a title. Let's insert a text box. This is going to be the animal newt. And I need to make sure I'm consistent. So let's go back to the font that I was using before. Make sure I'm using the size that I was using before, 36. Make sure that I'm color red 1, and I want the background fill color to be green, light green 1. There we go. And let's shrink this down like this. And let's move it here. I can even put it on the palm of my hand because the other one was down here. Maybe I want to leave it down here. And whoop, that didn't quite work out. Here we go. So let's just check to make sure. Ooh, my font looks a little off. What font was this one? Kavit. Let's go over here and make sure I am using Kavit. Oh, there we go. Here we go. There. Now we're working. And here we go. So continue on your own. Oh, the head. There we go. Continue on your own. Make sure all your slides are consistent, and also make sure that you are adding 2 additional slides with hyperlinks with references. This means that when you bring in another animal, you're able to create a hyperlink. So once again, let's go over how to create a hyperlink. I'm going to double click I'm actually going to create a reference. So let's go ahead and go into Insert. Let's go to Text Box down here, and I'm just going to put in reference. Select the word, Control K, and this is where I'm going to then paste the website URL up here that I got it from. Let me know if you have any questions via email, and hope to see you soon.